I guess it's all well and good creating this digital utopia here in Wales, but how do we keep our precious data, our ideas and IP safe and secure? From the Security Intelligence Review Committee in the Canadian government, would you please welcome Michael Doucet.
Great. Good morning, and thank you very much. I'm very pleased to be here this morning at this fantastic venue talking about such important things and topics that are important to all of us. I'm going to talk a little bit about privacy and security and the need for balance between the two. And you know, we really can't have this discussion without mentioning Edward Snowden and the events of just a year ago now and his revelations, and not only the effect that they're having on us or have had on us, but the effect that they're going to have on us in the future as well. Listening yesterday and thinking about the discussions we had with younger people, I really had to think about, you know, what are the future impacts for future generations in the Internet of Things. Many of you will not have heard of the Security Intelligence Review Committee, or SIRC. We are in essence an intelligence watchdog. Our UK equivalent is the Intelligence and Security Committee of Parliament. SIRC is a very small but professional organization which plays an essential role in the Canadian intelligence community, that of evaluation and review. In an age of rapidly expanding technology and information, I believe that evaluation and review elevate the quality of organizations in intelligence, in government, and in business. Building and maintaining trust in public institutions are key tenets of a democratic society. That task is especially important, but also very challenging when an institution cannot be subject to rigorous public scrutiny because its work must be carried out under the veil of secrecy. This is the case for the Canadian Security Intelligence Service, CSIS, which has the responsibility to collect intelligence relating to threats to Canada's national security. CSIS's equivalent here in the UK is the British Security Service, or MI5. For 30 years, my organization, SIRC, has been a core component of a system of checks and balances to keep CSIS accountable to Parliament and to Canadians. SIRC's mandate is to help ensure that CSIS respects the fundamental rights and freedoms of Canadians as it investigates threats to national security both domestically and abroad. And there's clearly a need for balance in doing so. To begin with, I'll give you an overview of my organization, who we are, what we do, and how we do it. I hope this summary will provide you with greater perspective on the assurances we provide to Parliament and the Canadian public. SIRC is an independent external body, meaning that we are at arm's length from government. And I've got independent underlined, bolded, and stars around it because we truly are independent. By that, what I mean is I don't report to a Minister of Parliament, I report directly to Parliament. And we have virtually unlimited power to review CSIS's performance, meaning with the sole exception of cabinet confidences, which mean the deliberations among ministers. SIRC has absolute authority to examine all information in CSIS's holdings, no matter how classified that information may be. This access is truly a unique feature of SIRC, and we are the envy of many of our foreign counterparts. Our committee is comprised of 3 to 5 members, all privy councillors who serve part-time, and they are supported by myself as executive director and about 18 research and legal staff. We have 3 key principal functions. We conduct reviews, we certify the CSIS's director's report to the Minister of Public Safety, and we investigate complaints against CSIS. I'll give you a brief overview of each one of those. Our reviews for any given year are designed to yield assessments across a wide variety or wide range of CSIS activities. To be clear, we have the ability to review any CSIS activities or operations. This means that we review why and how they target individuals, how they use and manage human sources, how they execute their very intrusive warrant powers authorized by the federal court, their exchanges of information with domestic and international partners, and their operations across Canada and abroad. Given the size of our staff, we must be strategic in the selection of areas to review in order to ensure a broad, representative, and timely coverage of CSIS activities and programs. By the way, every year in the October timeframe, we issue a report to Parliament. It's available on our website, and I'd encourage you to have a look at it. This year's report will should be released roughly at the end of October. Our second function is a certification process, and it requires us to assess the CSIS Director's annual classified report to the Minister of Public Safety. His report provides the Minister with information to assist him in exercising ministerial responsibility over CSIS. We examine the report for legality, reasonableness, and necessity of the service's operational activities. Finally, CERC investigates complaints under Section 41 of the CSIS Act. We investigate any act or thing done by the service. And under Section 42, we investigate complaints about denials or revocations of security clearances to federal government employees and contractors. Now, I'm going to dig down a little bit into the review function to talk about a review we did last year and give you some focus on that and relevance to this group. We derive our mandate and powers from the CSIS Act, which sets clear limits on the type of activities that may be investigated, the ways that information can be collected, and who may view the information. For example, under Section 12, CSIS shall only collect, to the extent that it is strictly necessary, intelligence respecting activities that may, on a reasonable grounds, be suspected of constituting threats to the security of Canada. These limits are echoed and further defined in ministerial direction given to CSIS. For example, CSIS must ensure that techniques of investigation that penetrate areas of privacy are used only when justified by the severity and imminence of the threat to national security. Now I'm going to give you an example of a review that had a privacy nexus as we examined CSIS's information sharing practices with domestic and foreign partners or information collected via intrusive warrant powers. In this particular review, we chose to pay close attention to CSIS's operational use of the internet. Very, very topical as we're talking internet, social networking, and so on. The review that we carried out explored the strategies, policies, and procedures that guide CSIS's use of the internet and also set out to answer a number of essential questions. What kind of information can be obtained from the internet that cannot be obtained through conventional means? What additional operational value does the collection of open information obtained on the internet provide to CSIS investigations? What are some of the difficulties of using the internet as an investigative tool? And how is the service responding to these challenges? We concluded that CSIS's approach in terms of policy and procedure appeared to be sound and allowed for the flexibility required to adapt to the challenge of a changing technological landscape. However, we also raised concerns and made important comments with respect to CSIS's interactions with youth and the challenges of collecting and retaining information that meets the strictly necessary test. This type of review allowed us to provide assurances to Canadians that the information collected online by CSIS met with pre-established set of legal criteria, respected other legislation such as the Privacy Act, and that CSIS acted responsibly towards Canadians. I wish to stress that in this information age, CERC is acutely mindful of the need for CSIS to respect its legislative information limits. Clearly, it's not because vast amounts of information are easily and publicly available that such information should be collected and retained by our Security Intelligence Service. But this goes further than security intelligence. As we have seen recently, and quite frankly, just about on a daily basis, the public concerns surrounding privacy and information collected and sold by large companies and social media companies simply being able to collect information does not necessarily mean that you should have it. And having it does not necessarily mean that you can do what you want with it at your will. In the future, citizens and consumers will start to seek the types of assurances from businesses that they currently receive from government in the form of review, evaluation, and audit. I'll end my comments at this point to allow for discussion later on, but in closing, I'd like to submit to you that the so-called tension between collective security and privacy is perhaps more hyperbole than a real dichotomy. Thank you very much.